Some towns don't just drain your money.
They drain you. The noise, the traffic, the pressure to keep earning forever. You work your whole life thinking retirement is the reward, only to realize most places want to charge you extra for the privilege of slowing down. But here's the part no one advertises. Across America there are towns so desperate for people, they'll literally pay you to move there. Not figuratively, not with vibes, with cash, with land, with housing incentives. And before you get excited, understand this. Nobody gives away money for no reason. These towns aren't doing this because they're generous. They're doing it because they're losing people. Fast. And today, we're exposing 10 towns that will pay you to retire there, and the uncomfortable truth behind each offer. Some of these places will save you financially. Others might quietly cost you your sanity. One town on this list feels like a loophole in the system. Another feels like a warning sign wrapped in a check. And the number one town? It looks perfect. Until summer hits. So before you ever trade your zip code for a payout, watch this. Because choosing wrong doesn't just waste money. It traps you. Stop. If this video just changed how you look at where you live, hit subscribe right now. Because the next town we expose looks safe, looks cheap, and completely ruins people who moved there unprepared. Don't miss it. Omak, Washington. Omak doesn't scream danger. That's what makes it deceptive. It's calm, quiet, almost unnervingly still. Homes here cost half of Western Washington prices. No state income tax. Low crime. On paper, it looks like a financial miracle. But here's the thing. Nobody tells you. Omak doesn't fade into winter. It disappears inside it. Months of cold. Darkness that stretches your patience thin. Snow that isolates. Locals don't talk about depression here. They just call it the season. Healthcare exists, but specialization means distance. Entertainment means nature, and only nature. If peace excites you, this place feels holy. If isolation scares you, it feels like exile. Omak doesn't test your wallet. It tests your mind. And the next town, it tests your tolerance for silence. Grigory, South Dakota. Gregory feels frozen in time. Population barely over 1,000. Homes around $100,000. No state income tax. They wave at you here. Everywhere. At first, it feels friendly. Then it feels mandatory. Retirement dollars stretch far, dangerously far. So far you stop noticing how few options you actually have. One grocery store, one hospital, 3 stop signs. Healthcare works until it doesn't. Winter arrives like a punishment. Wind doesn't pass through Gregory. It attacks. People here don't leave because they can't afford to. They leave because they can't take it anymore. Gregory gives you ownership and calm, but it takes variety and slowly momentum. And then comes the town that literally writes checks. Cumberland. Maryland? Cumberland doesn't ask nicely. It bribes you up to $20,000 in relocation incentives, grants, renovation money, Sounds generous, but ask yourself, why would a town pay people to stay? Because Cumberland has been bleeding residents for decades. The jobs left. The railroads dried up. The young people followed opportunity elsewhere. Healthcare is solid. Nature is beautiful. Walkability is real. But winters here don't just snow. They isolate. And once the novelty wears off, you start noticing the cracks. Closed storefronts. Empty buildings. A downtown that tries very hard. Cumberland doesn't fill and save. It feels like it's holding its breath. And the next town, it doesn't hold its breath. It hands you a check and moves on. Topeka, Kansas. Topeka pays you to move there, up to $15,000. That alone should make you pause. Why would a capital city need to do that? Because Topeka didn't collapse. It got bypassed. Median home prices are low. Taxes are friendly. Traffic barely exists. But the energy, muted Topeka, doesn't overwhelm you. It slowly convinces you nothing urgent exists, which is great, until you realize urgency is how people stay sharp. Wind dominates the city. Culture exists, but quietly. Ambition hums at low volume. Topeka won't drain you, but it may gently sedate you. And the next place, it sedates the entire map. Lincoln County, Kansas Lincoln County, doesn't offer incentives. It offers absence. Free land, no traffic, no pressure, no neighbors for miles. You will drive for everything. You will plan ahead for groceries. You will notice silence more than you expect. Internet exists, sometimes. Healthcare exists, eventually. People move here thinking they want simplicity. Some thrive. Others unravel. Lincoln County doesn't forgive people who need stimulation. It gives you land and asks what you're made of. Belleville, Kansas Belleville, will pay you up to $35,000 to move there. Not in a cheerful way, not in a welcome home way. In a please don't let us disappear way. Homes are cheap enough to feel unreal. Crime is almost non-existent. The streets are clean. The pace is slow, painfully slow. This is the kind of town where nothing happens, and that's the problem. The weather doesn't ease you in. Kansas wind doesn't ask permission. Winters bite. Summers don't forgive. And once you move here, living doesn't feel dramatic. It just feels pointless. Belleville doesn't trap you with rules. It traps you with routine. Days start blending together. Weeks lose their edges. Ambition quietly dissolves. This town rewards people who stop chasing more, who don't need momentum, who are done becoming. But if you still want growth, if you still measure life by forward motion, Belleville doesn't argue. It just waits until you feel it. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa is dangerous because it doesn't look like it should be on this list. It feels normal, comfortable, stable. The cost of living makes sense. The culture exists. The food is good. The neighborhoods feel lived in, not abandoned. Nothing here screams decline. That's the trap. Tulsa lets you settle fast. Too fast. Beat Beat. You stop comparing. Stop asking what else. Stop pushing timelines. Your life becomes efficient, predictable, manageable, and slowly, without noticing, good enough becomes the finish line. Tulsa doesn't crush ambition, it softens it, which is perfect. If you're tired, if you're done proving anything, if you want peace more than progress, but if you move here too early, Tulsa can quietly turn your future into a loop. Sometimes it's retirement. Sometimes it's surrender. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa is dangerous because it doesn't look like it should be on this list. It feels normal, comfortable, stable. The cost of living makes sense. The culture exists. The food is good. The neighborhoods feel lived in, not abandoned. Nothing here screams decline. That's the trap. Tulsa lets you settle fast. Too fast. You stop comparing. Stop asking what else. Stop pushing timelines. Your life becomes efficient, predictable, manageable, and slowly, without noticing, good enough becomes the finish line. Tulsa doesn't crush ambition. It softens it, which is perfect. If you're tired, if you're done proving anything, if you want peace more than progress, but if you move here too early, Tulsa can quietly turn your future into a loop. Sometimes that's retirement. Sometimes it's surrender. Corning, Iowa. Corning is quiet in a way that changes you. Beat not peaceful, quiet. Total quiet. Silence homes under $100,000 aren't a gimmick here. They're normal. So is knowing everyone's name. So is being noticed when you don't show up. Community is everywhere. Support is real. Help arrives before you ask. And at first, it feels like relief until you realize something else. There is no anonymity here. No vanishing. No reset. Corning knows when you're home. Knows when you're gone. Knows when something's wrong and expects an explanation. You matter here. Deeply. Deeply. But that also means you're never invisible. For some people, that's healing. For others, it's suffocating. Corning doesn't forget you, and it doesn't let you forget yourself. You're watching this because you care about your future. So don't scroll. Don't think. Subscribe right now, because the next video could save you thousands. Or years. Santa Rosa. New Mexico Santa Rosa looks like freedom. Wide skies. Open land. Low prices. Sun that feels endless. It feels like space to breathe. But distance here isn't aesthetic. It's logistical. Heat isolates, drive time stretch. Resources don't sit around the corner. Healthcare. ISN. De. Imposible. But it requires planning. Preparation. Awareness. This town doesn't rush anything. Not services, not systems, not rescue. Santa Rosa waits, and if you underestimate it, if you assume help will arrive the way it does in cities, this place reminds you who sets the rules. It's calm, beautiful, and completely indifferent. Parker, Arizona Parker, looks like the answer. A river cutting through the desert, sunshine almost every day. Homes priced like the past. It feels solved until summer arrives. Hit here isn't uncomfortable. It's dominant. Streets empty. Schedules revolve around survival. Errands become calculations. The air presses down. Movement costs energy. Time slows in the worst way. Parker rewards people who adapt fast, who learn the rhythms, who respect the environment. But if you underestimate it, if you treat it like a normal town, it punishes you without warning. This place doesn't care if you're impressed. It only cares if you're prepared. Most people think cheap towns are hidden gems. That's not what this video's about. This is about the towns America stopped investing in, but never stopped living in. Because while the country shows you skyscrapers, stadiums, and tech hubs, there are places where the lights flicker, the roads crack, and the future feels optional. You can buy a house in these towns for less than the price of a used car. Not a joke, not a scam, a real deed. And that should make you uncomfortable. Because when a place is that cheap, it's not generosity. It's gravity. People don't leave because they want to. They leave because momentum disappears. Jobs thin out, hospitals move farther away, and ambition quietly learns how to sleep. These towns aren't dying fast. They're fading slowly, and that's worse. What you're about to see aren't worst places lists. They're pressure tests. Each town in this video offers something tempting. Money to move in, homes under 6 figures, low crime, peace, space, but every one of them collects a price. Sometimes it's isolation. Sometimes it's heat. Sometimes it's the fact that once you arrive, you stop needing to leave. And that's the most dangerous part. Because these places don't trap you with fences. They trap you with comfort. This video isn't telling you not to move here. It's showing you what happens if you do. What it feels like after the novelty fades. After the math works. After the silence settles in. Some people thrive in these towns. They find peace. They find community. They finally stop chasing. Others feel something else entirely. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one you'd be. Because the question isn't, is it cheap? The question is, what does it cost you over time? Let's start with a town that will literally pay you to move there.